Hello everybody, Deathly Jazzheads55 here, and today I figured that since I am obsessed with all things Elden Ring, that I should do a tier list ranking the Remembrance bosses from Elden Ring. Duh. Just to point out a couple things. A, this is not scripted because I feel as if that doing a tier list based on my opinion with a script would be kind of redundant. Two, I have over 900 hours in Elden Ring. I'm not exactly the best at the game, but I would like to say that I'm pretty damn good at it. And finally, for the last thing, this includes the DLC Remembrances, so if you don't want to be spoiled for the DLC, don't watch this video, because I will be spoiling the DLC. With that being said, let's go over the rankings. So, as you can see, for S tier, we have Perfect. The way to get into Perfect is basically, I liked this fight every second of it. There was not a single thing about this fight that I hated. I thought that it was fair and balanced, and that I had the most fun for this fight. Amazing is, it's a good fight. It's actually a really good fight. There's just a couple things that I don't like about it that don't make it go into Perfect. Mediocre is, it was a good fight. It wasn't an amazing fight, but I wouldn't say that it's worthy of being in A tier. Okay is okay. I fought you. You're dead. Blah. Whatever. Moving on. Not fun is not fun. Like, you just weren't a fun fight. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And why are you Remembrance is, like, you could have just been a regular field boss, and I don't think there would have been any differences for that. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the Remembrance bosses, starting with Godric the Grafted. Godric the Grafted, when I first fought Godric, one more thing. This is summonless, so, like, my opinion of the fights, when I didn't use any summons, I went in and fought them pure just my skill. So there's another thing to that, too. Back to Godric. Godric, for a first Remembrance boss, I won't lie, he's not that difficult. His attacks, while delayed, are really easy to figure out. But that's kind of part of his charm. He's not really hard. Like, he will kill you a couple times. Unless you're just cracked. My first time fighting Godric, I think I died 10 times before I figured out his moveset for Phase 1. Phase 2, the dragon hand is what mostly screwed me over. But aside from that, the rest of the fight itself isn't that bad. I wouldn't say it's amazing. I guess I'll put him in mediocre. He'll be like the top of mediocre, unless I can think of someone else who's better than that. But that's where he'll sit. Moving swiftly on to Renala. I don't like Renala. Renala as a fight is just not a good fight. Like, okay, she is your stereotypical Souls magic spam boss. I've never liked these bosses. I've never liked them ever. I think the only thing that Renala has that makes her, I guess, kind of unique in that category is that she can use summons like you. But even then, like, they're just annoyances. The dogs are annoying. The Bloodhound Knight is even more annoying. The giant gets in the way. The dragon can eat my ass. Like, and then she usually combos that with glintstone stars and fucking the giant beam of death when you're not paying attention. So, I mean, in a way, I guess that makes sense, but it just, you can trivialize the fight by running up to her with a strength weapon and poise breaking her constantly. Like, that's just it. Like, she is not a fun fight. She's not even all that good. Phase 1 is a joke, which, I mean, it makes sense lore-wise that it's a joke, but, like, if your whole fight revolves around the second phase being insanely hard, then I don't think you're a good fight. Like, there's another thing in that's coming up here soon. Maybe not soon, but there's another thing coming up where it's like that. But it's okay for that because the first phase was just as hard. I think I'm gonna put Renala in okay. And then Radahn. Radahn. What can I say about Radahn that hasn't already been said? Radahn is one of the best Remembrance bosses in the base game. Period. The whole festival, the lore behind it, everything regarding this fight is just peak. It is one of the best fights in the game. Choosing to fight him with summons is an interesting way to fight him, I won't lie. It's pretty funny how you all just get at his toes and start kicking at him. Without the summons, and that includes the other guys that you can summon in for the fight, not just the ring-a-ding-ding of the bell, even though I don't think you can with the bell, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I've never actually tried to use an actual summon from the bell in that fight. I'm pretty sure you can't. But the other summons, the other guys, for the festival, that shit's funny, right? That fight is amazing, right? If you don't use them, I mean, even if you do use them, the fight's still amazing. It's tough, it's fast, it's quick, like, it's just a really good fight. Like, it's a really good fight. I wouldn't say it's perfect. There are a few things that I don't like about the fight, namely when he jumps up into the air and becomes a meteorite. I guess that's kind of, like, I guess that's, like, the spectacle of it. It's to show that he's one of the strongest demigods, even with the Scarlet Rot infesting him. But I just never liked that attack. Its hitbox is kind of it's kind of wanky. I don't know. That's the only thing actually probably keeping it from being imperfect. Everything else, it's an amazing fight. Yeah. Next is the Regal Ancestor Spirit. You fight a lesser version of this guy in the Sofra Riverwell in Limgrave. The only thing that changes between that fight and this one is that he can heal from the spirits and the lake, and he can sacrifice some of those spirits to then, like, either roll into you, stomp on you, or run you down like a hog. Aside from that, it's the exact same fight. It's boring, it's repetitive, the music isn't all that good either. The only thing that this fight has going for it is the lore. Aside from that, it's not fun. It's not a fun fight. It's very boring. It's very, very boring. Estelle, Stars of Darkness. Estelle, Stars of Darkness. I don't know what to really think about Estelle, honestly. I mean, it's kind of a fun fight, but it depends on the level you are going into the fight. If you're level 70 to 80, this fight's a blast. It's an amazing fight. But if you're like level 90 or level 100, God forbid you're in the 120s, this fight's a joke. Like, it is just a joke of a fight. I mean, I guess the only real way that you'd be experiencing this fight is if you're going through the Ronnie quest line, or if you're trying to get all the remembrances. But, I wouldn't say I liked it as much as I enjoyed Godric's fight. You know what? I'll put him behind Godric. He will be the low, like the end of B tier, of mediocre. Yeah. Like, he just barely gets into mediocre. Horaloo / Godfrey. Perfect or amazing? I don't know. I genuinely don't know, because I do have my complaints with this fight, but they're very trivial. Like, they're not like genuine complaints. They're more of just me being bad. Fuck it, he goes in perfect. Godfrey is one of the most hyped up bosses in Elden Ring, and it delivers. Like, if you fought Godfrey, first phase is amazing. First phase is you're fighting Elden Lord Godfrey. You're fighting what he was supposed to be. Or what he was supposed to be as far as the Golden Order was concerned. Then when you get him down to, I think it's either 50% health or 45% health, I've never really figured out where it kind of happens. It kind of just happens at random for me, honestly. When you get him like past a quarter of his health, it's like a range of where he could potentially go fucking all balls to the walls. But my point is that Godfrey, once you get past that part, when he gets to Horaloo, usually my opinion of these bosses kind of gets worse with the second phase. But honestly, my opinion of it gets better with the second phase, because this kind of feels like, I don't really know how to explain it. It's just, Horaloo is really fucking good. He's just, like, that part of that fight is just amazing. You know it's a good fight when you can't really describe how good it is, right? It's just an amazing fight. Well put together, well made. Same thing, that means the same thing. Like, it doesn't feel cheap. Like, there are some of these fights where it kind of feels like, God damn it, I really shouldn't have got hit by that. But with every single one of his attacks, yes, they're heavily choreographed, but they're not slow enough to where you can easily dodge them like Godric. Like, you have to be on your A game if you want to dodge any of his grab attacks that send you flying into the air or whatever. One of the best fights in Elden Ring, by far, DLC included. Base game, he's the second best. There's one more fight that I think is better than Godfrey, but aside from that, goated fight. Moving swiftly on to Malekith. Malekith's okay. Malekith's an okay fight. The first phase, again, with kind of like Renala, it kind of dumbs it down. A very stereotypical beast enemy turned into a boss. And then the second phase, yeah, it's pretty good. It's really fast. You have to be on your A game, just like Godfrey / Horaloo. The problem is that he doesn't have enough health to make it meaningful. If he had more, if the first phase was a whole health bar, and the second phase was its whole health bar, then it would be a worthwhile fight. It would make it far better. But it isn't, and the boss doesn't even have a lot of health in the first place. If you're like 99 strength and you're using Lion Claw, you're killing this guy in 6 hits. With a heavy infusion, obviously. You have to have a heavy infusion, otherwise you're not killing it at 6 hits, more 10. But you're still killing the guy really quick. God forbid you decide to, like, use summons. But, again, this is a summonless tier list, so... You know, like, it's not a perfect fight. It's not even a mediocre fight. It's okay. Again, if Malekith himself was given a full health bar, then I'd maybe bump him up to mediocre. But aside from that, it's not a very good fight. Like, it just isn't. Rykard Lord of Blasphemy, though, it's a gimmick fight. It's a gimmick fight, but it's a good gimmick fight. You're given the weapon at the start of the arena, and as long as you just keep doing jumping heavy attacks, you should be good. I have never died to Rykard. Ever. Not my first time playing through the game, not my 12th. I've never died to Rykard. Ever. Yeah, that's about it. I've just never died to Rykard. He's not a hard fight. He's a gimmick fight, but he's a damn good gimmick fight. The atmosphere, the music. His voice actor killed it. I don't know if I'm the only... I know I'm not the only one who's mentioned that his voice actor basically kills the fight, like, in a good way. But aside from that, he is your stereotypical Souls gimmick fight. And he's not a bad one either. Fire Giant, why are you Remembrance? Like, if Rykard was a good gimmick fight, Fire Giant is a bad gimmick fight. Granted, you're not given an OP weapon to beat him, but, like, he's just not a good fight, like, at all. He's a giant. His only real attacks are stomping on you or slamming you with his garbage lid. And then his fire attacks you can easily avoid. It's not a good fight. I don't know why people think it is. I know a few people who think it's a good fight, but it just genuinely isn't. Yeah, no. I don't know why he's a Remembrance fight. Genuinely don't know. Other than lore, I genuinely don't know why he's a Remembrance fight. Moving swiftly on, we have Morgott, the Omen King, and he is amazing. He might have next to no health, but he makes up for that with his speed and the quickness of his attacks. Now, I know that makes no sense, given that my complaint with Malekith is that he doesn't have a lot of health. The difference is that Morgott doesn't trick you into thinking he's somebody else in his major fight. He is Morgott the Omen King. He's going to kill you. I think I died to him well over 30 times. He is an amazing fight. Straight out. And anybody who says otherwise is either bad at the game, because he's too difficult or some shit, or what have you. He's an amazing fight, and I think the only thing holding him back from being put into perfect with his father is that his second phase, when he does the whole coughing fit and splurges all over the place, I think that they could have made it so that the geysers that come up afterward are more frequent than what they are. But aside from that, and aside from the fact that his one grab attack where he kind of holds his big sword above his head, scoops you up with it, and then flings you, that one has a pretty janky hitbox. Same with his blood flame slash in the air. That also has a janky hitbox. But aside from that, it's an amazing fight. The same could not be said for Dragon Lord Plagiarius Axe. Like every dragon boss fight in this game, you just smack his toes and you win. Or God forbid you're a magic build. Glint Spiral, whatever the hell that spell is called. I've never paid attention to the magic names. But you use that, and you just constantly keep spamming. You have like 60 FP. You shred through his health bar before phase 2 can even begin. Like, he is a joke of a fight. He is straight up a joke. Like, you get him in one place, you just constantly poise break him, you win. He's not a hard fight. He's not even fun. Like, and on the off times that you do decide to fight him normally, he's still not a fun fight. He's basically just your average dragon boss in Elden Ring. And that's it. That is it. It is all he is. He's not very fun. Speaking of dragon fights, Lich Dragon Fortisax is in the same position except he's worse. How is he worse? I don't know. Maybe it's because that he just is a regular fucking dragon. He doesn't even have the luxury of being the Dragon Lord. He is just a black ancient dragon. That is it. If you fought Lanciax, he's the same thing. If you fought Sandsax in the DLC, he's the exact same thing. If you fought any of the ancient dragons in Farum Azula, it's the exact same thing. The only difference is that there's lore behind him, why he's in the area that he is, why he's tied to the Dustborn ending, and why he can cast death, why he can use death incantations or death spells. That's it. That is literally it. Aside from that, he is just your average ancient dragon fight. That's it. That's all there is to it. I'm just realizing now that Bale isn't here. I mean, I guess he's not a Remembrance, but we'll talk about Bale at the end then. Finally, we have 3 more base game bosses. Elden Beast / Radagon. It's okay. Radagon carries the fight. Elden Beast, especially now that you can ride the horse. Actually, he'll be top of it, okay. Elden Beast is a joke. First time fighting Elden Beast, he's not that hard. Or, not first time fighting Elden Beast, yeah, he can be a little annoying. Repeated playthroughs, Elden Beast is a joke. I think past my first ever fight with Elden Beast, specifically in the Elden Beast part, I've never died. Radagon is far harder than Elden Beast, which I don't think was the point. I think the point was that after Radagon abuses you, the Elden Beast toys with you and kicks your ass. But the Elden Beast is decidedly not that. He is a pushover. Honestly, if it wasn't for Radagon being in first phase, I'd put him here. But because Radagon is in the first phase, Elden Beast gets carried to okay, but he doesn't go past anything. In fact, he's top of okay. He's the very tippy top of okay. Yeah, no, that's pretty much, that's all I have to say about that. Radagon, it should have just been Radagon as the final boss. I dead ass think that. The Elden Beast was not needed at all. Not even, I'm not even saying that because I'm bad. It's just Elden Beast isn't a good fight. Outright, Radagon carries. Melania goes into perfect. I don't think I should have to explain why Melania goes into perfect. Actually, she's better than Godfrey. If you know, you know. I'm not going to explain why Melania is a perfect fight. If you fought Melania, you know why. If you haven't fought Melania, then you'll find out. I'm not gonna say anything about her fight. She's perfect. She is a perfect fight. She's one of the best fights in the entire game. I actually think it could be interchangeable between Godfrey and Melania, who's at the top. But aside from that, that's it. Moog, Lord of Blood, can be easily put in amazing. I would say he's the bottom of amazing, but he's not dipping into mediocre like Void, Darkness, Stars, Estelle guy is here. I don't have really much to say about Moog. There's two ways you can really fight him. You can fight him with the crystal tier that basically makes his Nihil useless, or you can fight him without it. And I don't know why you would fight him without it. Aside from that little tidbit, he hits you really hard, and he constantly uses blood buildup. The only thing I don't like about his fight is when he throws blood flame around and traps you in corners. Aside from that, the fight's amazing. Yeah, okay, now we're going into DLC bosses. If you don't want to be spoiled for the DLC, then go away. If you're still here, we're moving straight on to Divine Beast Dancing Lion, and I'm going to be so honest with you right now, he is mediocre. He is a mediocre fight. He's not hard. Well, he is hard. If you're running a Blood Flame build, you fucking mollywop him. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that I can say about him that... I mean, his gimmick where he does the storms is kind of cool. His rematch later on in the Runes of Rao is interesting. It has Death Blight. But aside from that, it's not a difficult fight, like, at all. Well, I mean, I've died to him a few times, but it was only because of my camera. Like, that's about it. He's not fun to fight either. The only reason why he isn't in not fun is because of the cutscene and the music and the phase transitions. That shit's cool, right? It's the spectacle that moves him up to mediocre. Rolana, I don't fucking know. However you pronounce her goddamn name. She is perfect. She is a perfect fight. Backshots of Doom, very hilarious. Actually, fun fact about Backshots of Doom, her two moon attacks. It has the exact same timing as Godric's Axe Slam in his second phase. So as long as you know that pattern, you can easily avoid her Backshots of Doom. Like, literally, she has the two slams that come down quick, and then she halts for a second while she raises her swords in the air and slams it down. It's the exact same thing. There is no difference in how she fights. It is the same shit, and it is funny as fuck watching people who bitch and complain about Backshots of Doom, when in reality, if you fought Godric, you should be able to figure that shit out. The rest of the fight is basically a lesser Pontiff Sullivan, but even then, amazing fight, amazing boss. I don't really have much else to say. I literally have no complaints. Like, as I said in the beginning of this video, if you want to get into perfect tier, there's got to be no complaints to your fight, and I have no complaints about her fight. Speaking of no complaints with their fight, Mesmer. Mesmer is such a good fucking fight. Like, holy shit, okay? I will admit, Phase 1 is really hard. Phase 2 isn't nearly as hard, but it can catch you off guard. I don't know if it's just a me thing, but in his second phase, when he turns into that baleful snake, it is just so aggravating to dodge. I don't know why, because it's slower than Rykard's head snake thing. In his second phase ish, where you get his second phase down to half health. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say. But it's slower than that, but even that, I think it's because I expect it to come out faster, so my dodging isn't nearly as good. But aside from that, zero complaints about his fight. It is amazing. It is one of the best fights. Again, it's one of the best fights in the game. Need I say more? Now, I wish I could say the same about Nidra, but Midra is still, again, an amazing fight. My main complaint with Midra's fight is that when he does the whole face bonk into the ground and explodes the arena, when he gets all aggravated and shit, it has a very janky hitbox. So there'll be times where you've gotten the timing down perfectly for the dodge roll or for the jump or whatever it is that you plan to use to avoid that attack, but it'll still damage you anyway. Aside from that, fight's amazing. One of the best in the game. Actually, is he better than Star Scourge? I actually think he's better than Star Scourge. Yeah, no, Star Scourge Radon is lesser than Midra, which is insane, because Star Scourge Radon was my favorite in the base game, but... Well, I'm not my favorite in the base game. That goes to Godfrey. But for, like, the main Remembrance bosses up till the burning of the Erd Tree. Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's an amazing fight. Midra is an amazing fight. I wish he was perfect, but he's not. His soundtrack is so fucking fire. Oh my god, it's just amazing. Okay, moving on. To the is it Putrescent? Is it pronounced Putrescent? Putrescent Knight. Okay. He's an okay fight. I don't really have much to say about the Putrescent Knight. He's not bad, but he's not good either. Like, you know, he's not great. He's not good either. I don't really know. I don't know. He's just there. He kind of exists. Yeah. Moving on. The Shadow Tree, Skidoo Tree Avatar, Shadow Tree Avatar, fucking whatever. Is he better than, or is he a little worse than Rykard? Hold on, let me move him up. Yeah, I think he's worse. I think he's better than Rykard. My only problem with him is he has the little too... He doesn't have a lot of health. He's got 3 phases, but he doesn't have a lot of health. You hit him with a fire attack and his health just dies. Which, I mean, I guess makes sense because, you know, he's a plant. But, I don't know. Not a really good fight. Well, he's a good fight, but, like, he's just not a lot of health. His attacks are very predictable. Like, I've only died to him 3 times. That's about it. You get Michaela's Great Rune from it, and you get a really OP thing from his Remembrance, his Thorn spell. But aside from that, it's kind of cheat. It's kind of shit. Okay. Commander Gaius, why are you a Remembrance? You could easily be a field boss. I don't understand why he has to be a Remembrance fight. It's not his charge attack, by the way, that puts him here. It's everything else. It's everything else about his fight. He is predictable. He's easy to dodge. He's just not a good Remembrance boss. Like, he doesn't need to be a Remembrance. He's another one of those Tree Sentinel reskin fights who is a Remembrance boss because of his links to Radon. And that is about it. Romina, Saint of the Bud, not a fun fight. Just not a fun fight. Not because of her Scarlet Rot. If that was the case, then Melania would be put down here. It's just the fight is not fun. She's basically this game's equivalent to Quelaag. I personally, by the way, I hate Quelaag. So that, I guess that's kind of a bias on my end, but this fight just blows in every way imaginable. It's not a fun fight. Her attacks are annoying. Everything about her is annoying. So therefore, she is not fun. Maybe it's a me problem, but I just don't like the fight. The same cannot be said about Metter. Metter is bottom of amazing. Reason being is that she gives me Bloodborne vibes. Aside from that, her attacks are easy to dodge, but they're not too easy and they're not too difficult to dodge. The only thing I don't understand is her giant laser beam. I don't know how that shit works. And also if she stopped spawning finger creepers, that would be awesome. Yeah, no, that would be lovely if she just stopped doing that. Aside from that, she is an amazing fight. Bottom of amazing, mind you. But still amazing. Finally, we have Consort Radon. Consort Radon, I think Consort Radon is worse in terms of a fight than Star Scourge Radon, but the rest of the fight ain't that bad. Like, I don't really know. Second phase kind of dulls it down for me because of the laser beam attack, like the laser beams that come after everyone slashes. Also where he T-poses and nukes the arena. I don't like that. But everything else about the fight is good. It's so fucking hard. Like, it is... I think the difference between Melania and her difficulty and Consort Radon and his difficulty is that Consort Radon's difficulty kinda seems like it was tacked on. I don't know. I just have really mixed feelings on Consort Radon, but that doesn't stop him from being an amazing fight. His first phase is amazing. His second phase could do without a couple things, like the laser beam at the end of his slashes. And the big nuke, but I guess the nuke is kind of warranted, because that's Miquella's major attack that he does. Yeah, no, I think that's... Yeah. I think that's it. That's the tier list. Those are my opinions on the Remembrance bosses. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Like or dislike, doesn't really matter. Subscribe if you want to see more content from me. I don't really know what I'm gonna upload on this channel yet, aside from doing live streams. I go live occasionally, by the way, so if you want to pop in and check out what I do, then that's also cool. Aside from that, that's about it. See ya.